show to feel the vibe.
I ain't stressing today.
Yo,
I ain't stressing today.
bounce. You negative, well I ain't got time.
I ain't stressing today.
Yo,
I ain't stressing today.
bounce. Peace and love is on my mind.
I ain't stressing today.
Hold up.
I ain't stressing today.
Bounce. I'ma tell you one more time.
I ain't stressing today.
Yeah.
I ain't stressing today.
Bounce. Watch my whip today, I buffed it up good with the Shannon. Feeling good, think I might just pull up on my granny. We watch that Wheel of Fortune while we eat that church chicken. She tell me that she been thinking one day I'm gonna win a Grammy. I say now shout out to my barber, that boy on a mission. Got my line so crispy when I talk they pay attention. And my lady is so bad, swear she was born in her bag. Had to give her extra cash to go tip her beautician. Like how you look that good? I'm about to show you off, let's cool up through my neighborhood. You said my partner tried to holler, boy I wish he would. You know what, I ain't even much tripping. I'm confident in me, so can't nobody catch me slipping. And don't call me
Hey, peace, y'all. Welcome to the Hump Day Reading. Happy day of SU. On this day of SU, you already know what to do. Comment in the comments your name, birthday, number, letters, whatever you want. Something that's been popping up in your vision, a dream you keep having. Get this weekday reading. We gonna, give you a little update about what's happening in the stars and things and how that's going. So if y'all wasn't tapped into the astrological update, because I know Instagram be hating on me. They be acting like they like I can't put up. I be trying to put my astrological updates up there. But as far as what's going on in the cosmos, I think I moved the paper somewhere. But yeah, we had Mercury entering Cancer the day before yesterday. Today was actually a pretty cool, calm, quiet day in the cosmos, which is pretty cool. And I wanted to talk to y'all because I know like the second sun keep popping up on some of y'all, right? So when you get into like sun on a numerological joint, so initially we used to call the sun Ra, right? And Ra is the letters R-A. So you're dealing with 9 and 1, bringing things into the karmic womb, bringing things full circle into fruition, the divine womb into manifestation, materialization, and then A being the number 1. So you got 9-1. You got the karmic energy there, bringing you up into the one, being one amongst the collective, and that's what the sun is, right? It's one amongst the collective. So you have this combination of 9 and 1. It brings you to 10, the 10th sphere in the tree of life. Now we have something coming fully into manifestation. So when we were in that space, when it was like, let there be light and stuff like that, we were in the energy of Ra, coming into that 9 and 1, bringing it to a 10, bringing it back into a 1. So, moving from Ra to Sun is now you're dealing with 1, 3, 5. You're dealing with standing one amongst the collective with that one energy. Then you coming into the 3, creating. And then you come into a 5 with the community, or whatever, communication, adventures, and stuff like that. 1 and 3 coming into a sense of stability, plus that 5 will bring you to a 9. So the sun that we have in this space is actually a 9. It's not as full as Ra. It's not as hot as Ra, but Ra is returning on the 10. You get what I'm saying? So this sun is not as much as Ra is. You're going to see the images of 2 suns and the mindset that this is not the sun that we've once had, and et cetera, et cetera. And so I wanted to break that down for y'all, that the names and the labels do matter. And that's how we speak life into things, because the names that we give people, places, things, and ideas have sounds attached to them. And the sounds that's attached to them have power. It has meaning. It gives life into that object. If I want to say Ra, I'm talking about a whole different sun here. So the more people talk about Ra, the more life they're giving Ra, the more collectively we are manifesting. You forget, as a tribe of like 30,000, 40,000 of us, we was making rain happen. We were doing rain dances and stuff like that. So, we got to keep that in mind as well. Like, we have the power to create these things. We have the power to change the course that the planet is even on. We have the power to change how we see the stars on the individual level. Because I will say, since I've been doing the astrological updates, constellations have been revealing themselves to me, stars have been revealing themselves to me, different energy exchanges with the cosmos have been opening themselves to me, because I have been opening myself up to them. And that's the power, the mindset through all of this. You have the power to manifest whatever you want in this simulation. You just got to take your power to do so. So that's what we have there for that. Um, hold up. So yeah, on a collective scale, in addition to that, also talking about the moon. The moon is 4665, right? You're coming into that consonant of stability initially with that four, dealing with that solid energy, the appearance of being solid, right? The moon appears to be solid, but there is some speculation of the moon actually being more so more of a plasma than solid, which is why starlight can reflect over it so well, especially when it's around like orange and red color stars. That's a big thing, right? In addition to that, you come into two sixes, right? You come into two sixes. The first six chakras, you're dealing with the above and below chakras before you come out of the crown, right? So these are all the physical chakras we're dealing with, the physical energy we're dealing with. And when you think about it, that's the energy that the moon moves, right? The moon is always in conjunction, opposition, alignment, square, etc., with other physical bodies, allowing that creation to occur on the physical chakras. So you have those six physical chakras there, controlling the waters that those six chakras sit in, because they all sit in water, right? And then on top of that, when you think about the moon and the energy that the moon controls, like the third eye vibe, the sun and moon both control the third eye. The sun more so controls the experiences of the third eye, whereas the moon controls more so the internal self of the third eye. So you have the external and internal eye, that Odomila and that Yamoja energy. And while Odomila is bringing that womb space, because right now we call it Ra and Sun, two different bodies. We got the moon on the other side bringing that energy of creation. The noise doesn't stop. I don't understand the purpose of having a car that loud. It serves no purpose, to be honest. I can't imagine driving inside of it all the time. I don't like a lot of noise. But yeah, so we have that vibe going on with the sun and the moon, and that's what the moon brings is, controlling those six chakras heavily. You got two sixes there, right? And they're both consonants. And they're both vowels, two O's. Two O's is the sixes. So it's the feminine energy controlling your six chakras, your physical chakras that are sitting in water. And that's why you get the mindset that different moon phases really affect you. Full moon affects you a certain way, new moon affects you a certain way, and those are the most imbalanced moons. So those are the moons we give the most light to. But every phase of the moon is just as important. Every phase of the moon is just important. You don't want to overlook one over the other. The moon is always changing. And this is also why the moon is associated with feminine energy, because you have these two vowels in the middle in alignment with those sixes. And so, is going inward, that inward work on the six. And then coming out into the five, which is community, you're dealing with the fifth, sphere. You could also deal with the fifth house, which is that Leo house, still coming back to that sun energy in some type of way, shape, or form, right? Still showing you that, I'm here to complete, So we have the 3 to the 9, all right? You got the 3 to the 9 and the sun and the moon. Now, Mercury is 4. The way the letters align and they add up to the number 4, and Mercury is associated with that earth energy, Virgo energy. It's still a mutable energy. So you have a mutable earth energy and then a Gemini earth energy. But the goal here in Mercury is to have stability, right? That's the goal. That's what you want to achieve out of here, is the stability. The numbers that show up most often in Mercury are 9s, invocation, bringing things through the divine womb, bringing them up to the not divine womb. And three, the energy of creation, which Virgo energy is definitely associated with. Both energies in the throat chakra of invocation, which is how you bring things into fruition. So, you have those numbers in alignment as well, which is pretty cool. When you get into Venus, Venus is associated with 9. It comes up to 1 and 8, 18 at first. So you have that standing by yourself amongst the collective. You have that level of stability, and then you're also creating transformations with that energy as well. So when you bring those two energies together, you come to the 9, which is bringing things through the divine womb, bringing things to fruition. Other planets that you have in alignment with the 9, my divine nines, is Sun, Venus, Jupiter. Those are the nines. Uh, hey, the food is done. Those are the divine 9 energies. Jupiter, bringing things through the divine womb on the level of generosity, optimism, and the pinnacles and your sacral chakra self. So that's really exciting. Then we have the sevens. Sevens is also a celestial number. 7 is associated with Earth. Earth is a very celestial planet, as this is the planet that everyone seems to want to come to for some odd reason and save all the little beings and the souls here. This is where we come for the celestial assimilation. 2 and 5 add up to make the 7 that Earth is. So you have that duality, Libra scale with things, at 7 being the pH level that everything kind of wants to, be on to be considered like a neutral being. 2 being the Libra scales, 5 being experiences, 5 also dealing with community and communication. 5 also associating with Orumila, which is that ego and self-realization energy as well. So you have the scales balancing all that energy there. It seems like a lot of us come to Earth to have those energetic, balancing, recalibration type of experiences. So Earth is in alignment with 7. Pallas is also in alignment with 7. Pallas is an asteroid. It's the genius-like qualities that you usually overlook in yourself. Things that you don't really pay attention to because you don't feel like they're going to get the recognition they deserve, etc., etc. So that's all that energy there. Um, Mars is a 6. Mars is motivation, circulation. Now we're getting things going into creation. You know what I'm saying? It's 4191 is what spells out to make Mars 4191. Now, when you get into the word of Ogun, which is just the same amount of letters, you start off with a 6, right? With that O. And then, the thing with the Orishas, when the Orishas were the names of the planets, you notice a lot of the Orishas started with the feminine energy, as they all started with a vowel sound. So if you had all these Orishas starting with a vowel sound, thus you were putting that feminine energy on those planets, on those spheres in the tree of life, and those things in between that you're aligning those Orishas with. They are in alignment with the divine feminine energy, starting with those vowel sounds. But now we have moved from those vowel sounds to majority of these planets and these plexuses and stuff start with that consonant, and they start with a lot of masculine sound and masculine numbers. A lot of ones, a lot of sevens, which are in alignment with the ones. Peace. A lot of sevens that are in alignment with the ones, still bringing you in solitude, even with it in alignment with the celestial government. So you do have a lot of that masculine energy, that has covered over, the celestial realm. Bring it back to the Orishas, y'all. The Orishas brought the balance of the masculine and feminine energy and the necessities between the two, especially when you get into the story of Oshan and how it was 16 masculine deities created initially, and they were told to procreate the earth. And what was happening was masculine energy cannot procreate by themselves, so they needed Oshan's waters. So she came and she brought forth the waters to assist in that materialization and the procreation of things. And so, they all came to her, and it wasn't an easy task. Initially, they was coming at her crazy. Initially, it was, a denial of the necessities of the divine feminine energy. And she wasn't there to argue with nobody about her worth or what she brought to the table or whatever. She knew what she had. And so once things were in divine alignment and that respect was there, and those different people, places, and things were in alignment, then the procreation occurred. So that's kind of like, as above so below. Time is not linear. You see that vibe happening now. A lot of these men are put in the different spheres in the tree of life and asked to procreate in those spheres. Procreate in the temples, procreate in the military, procreate in the government, procreate in the education system, procreate in agriculture, procreate in all these areas. However, there's no feminine energy in these areas to provide the waters for them to procreate. So you're getting a lot of division and not a lot of unification. And water is what unifies everything, right? You have all these separate planets, but all these separate planets are sitting in the same water. You have all these separate organs and body systems in your body, but they're all sitting in the same water. You have all these separate organelles in your body, but the organelles are all sitting in the same cell, the same water. So the water is what unites everything. As long as if you try to remove the water from things, that's when the separation is going to occur. That's when you're going to keep getting the friction and the resistance. And that's what's happening down here. And that's why I say watch the waters. Tap into that Oya and your Moja energy of watching the waters. Because the water is bringing the unification. You have the one thing happening in current events with the whole like Titanic and submarine thing, but it's opening up the conversation on just how much the waters are unifying the spaces, the different terrors in our space. You know, opening up that dialogue, having those kind of conversations is very important. You know, because it's giving us an expanded mindset. Remember what I said in the beginning of this video, that mindset is key. And as long as you have that the more you try to pull out, the more that's going to be revealed to you. Same thing I said with the stars and things like that. The more you give notice to, the more that's going to be revealed to you, the more that's going to open up to you, because you're putting your energy in that space to open those things up for you. So opening those dialogues about the water, having those conversations about Pluto, going in retrograde and repeating those degrees in Capricorn. Now it repeated degrees and Aquarius. Now it's going back to those degrees in Capricorn that we came out of. And we were in those degrees during, the March, rain and the storms that were going on, and the coldness, the cool. And Pluto is extreme. Pluto is bringing that electromagnetic energy back into our space. And that's why it's like, oh, it's summertime. It's summertime. I get it. At the same token, Pluto is repeating some degrees. It has, it's transiting zodiacs. Whereas for like the past, since 2008, so you had like the past 5 years, this Pluto was not transiting zodiacs. So we weren't really, witnessing major shifts in the degrees until now. So now you're witnessing this. So when Pluto goes back direct in like October, November, that's when all these outer planets are going to go direct. You got Neptune's retrograde happening this weekend. So prepare yourself for the Neptune retrograde. Neptune is going to start repeating degrees too. So those different, experiences that you had, with Saturn and Pisces going in retrograde in the 7th house, and now Neptune going to Pisces, a lot of those manipulations, a lot of those, those different visages that people were putting up, a lot of that stuff is coming down. A lot of that stuff is falling apart because Saturn is there. Saturn is in its home house. This home house is the Libra scales, that 7th house energy. So Saturn actually gets its strength from being in the 7th house, because Saturn is the energy of retribution. I would rather use the term Babalao, because when you use the term Babalao, you're coming into the 212, and then you have that celestial, L there and things like that. The letters are different. It creates different sounds. It creates a different energy than Saturn. Saturn, puts fear in people's hearts, because you can think about the story of Cronus and, all those different facts in between with Jupiter and things like that. But when you think about Babalao, you think more so of this person not only brought like disease and famine, but he also brought healing and health. He could also heal people. He also could heal the earth and, reverse those things. It's about retribution. It's not about punishment. It's about karmic energy. And right now, retribution is going towards those one-on-one relationships in that Libra, on those Libra scales, you know, and that's pretty cool. I like it here on the Libra scales. Also, when you get into, so now we're in Cancer season. So here's some certain places. Peace, y'all. Welcome. If you guys would like a reading, put your name or your life path number, or just say pull a card for me in the comments, and I'll do a reading for you. But Yamoja, the energy that the different places on Earth that are ruled by Cancer energy is Algeria, Belize, Cape Verde, Colombia, Congo, Holland. The United States is ruled by Cancer energy. Paraguay, Scotland, New Zealand. Certain towns that's ruled by Cancer energy is Amsterdam, Manchester, Milan, New York, Stockholm, Tokyo, Venice, New York, Rwanda, Somalia, Liberia, Malawi, Mozambique, Laos, Madagascar, South Korea, Slovenia, and the Solomon Islands. So these are good places to look up, be in alignment with their current events, because they are definitely being affected by the Yamoja energy, the Cancer energy. You might see some alignments happening with planets that are ruled by a shoe, which is Virgo energy. Now that Mercury has entered into Cancer, so some alignments with those places, in alignment with Armenia, Costa Rica, Honduras, Qatar, Mali, Brazil, Greece, Switzerland, Turkey, Crete, Uruguay, and the West Indies. Some cities that are ruled by Mercurian energy is Athens, Paris, Boston, Corinth, Lyons, and health resorts, spas, because now we're dealing with Hygienia, the asteroid that rolls over hygiene and cleanness. And Mexico City is also ruled by Virgo energy. So this is all, Eshu energy, the alignment of Eshu energy with, Yamoja energy. So you might see some combining stories. It's not always like country to country. Sometimes it's a representative of that culture or that country and what it's going through. Sometimes it's virtual traveling, but those are the energies those are the terrors that's ruled by those energies and that alignment there. So you guys can, tap into the news and stuff like that and get in alignment with that information. Peace, y'all. If you would like a card pull for you, just comment in the chat. If you would like a name reading, write how you wish to be addressed in the chat, and I'll do a name reading for you as well. Welcome to the Hump Day Readings. If you guys are on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all these different places, thank you for tapping in. Feel free to share. So that's the energy that we have there for that and those planes and those planets. Now, as far as Neptune, I told y'all Neptune is going into retrograde. Let me pull out my notes. I really cannot find this one paper. But peace. Thank you for tapping in, love. I appreciate you so much. So much. The Capricornians, that meteor shower is going to start on July 3rd. The full moon is going to rise on July 3rd at 7:39 a.m. This is the buck moon. So it's called the buck moon because when this moon was full, this is usually when the bucks are receiving their antlers at this time. And so that's, pretty cool if you are, a deer and you're excited about getting your antlers. They are coming, or they're around the corner. I know that paper is like somewhere right in front of my face because I was using it this morning to do the astrological update. Here it is. There it is. Okay, so tomorrow is the 29th, right? So Pallas is going to enter the Leo constellation tomorrow at 6 a.m. And that's cool because Pallas has, thank you for sharing, because Pallas has it's been entered in Leo zodiac energy. So in the tropical, how we're thinking, how our mentality is, we've already had Pallas sitting in Leo. So you have those qualities that you may be overlooking in yourself, those genius qualities, those strategies, that mindset and stuff sitting in Odum Mila, which is the masculine, the external self of, your third eye. Now we have the alignment of the tropical and the Vedic chart, with Pallas now entering Leo on the Vedic chart. So you're gonna feel that, a lot more aha moments, a lot more third eye experiences that bring aha moments that you're going to start walking into, that's going to expand for you, because you're dealing with that Leo energy, which is the external third eye. So that's really exciting. Whether you want to walk into the sun with the 3 or Ra with the 9, it's up to you. I prefer the Ra, because Ra comes into 10 and it brings us back to 1. So that's full circle sun that we're dealing with there. Also tomorrow we have Mercury and Teja posterior minimal angle. So, now that Mercury is in that Cancer energy, is about to start putting his feet on people's couches, and they're aligning with the stars, creating occultations and squares and trines and oppositions and things with the Cancer energy. So your throat chakra is in alignment with your third eye. The ability to invoke is very major right now. The desire to want to teach and learn more in the spiritual realm in alignment with your moja is on the forefront of things. Invoking safe spaces, invoking nurturing spaces is a big thing during this time right now as well. So, kudos to all my spiritual leaders, to all my tarot readers, everybody in between. This time is for us. People are really going to be looking for y'all spells, for y'all knowledge, for y'all ability to configure things, because there's a lot of manipulation going on in the 3D realm with Mercury entering your moja, and it's going to invoke a lot of different things in people. Again, like I said, this is the energy of invoking, and there's a lot of entities out here that like to invoke fear and despair and chaos, because that's the energy they eat. So, those of you guys who prefer to invoke safe, nurturing spaces, or you prefer to invoke, love, creativity, peace, etc., etc., you guys are going to be called on to balance those Libra scales with Saturn in that 7th house. You guys are going to be called on when Neptune starts going in retrograde and starts repeating those degrees. Be mindful of the fact that when Saturn and Neptune were forward, when Pluto was forward, it was a lot of manipulation going on, right? It was a lot of, mass killings and shootings, a lot of invocation going on our screens, aligning with like masculine and feminine relationships, aligning or disaligning us. It was a lot of energy going towards that. So as we repeat those degrees, that energy is going to repeat. Are you going to be that fish that goes with the flow of things and allows yourself to be manipulated? Or are you going to be that fish that rises above and goes against the flow of things? That is up to you. That's a choice that you have, and that's what like that Babalao energy is evoking as well. That Saturn energy that's saying, hey, I'm in my house, balancing these scales and providing retribution to those who have been tipping the scale all along. So that's what you can expect with the outer planet retrogrades. And those retrogrades usually don't end until about October, November-ish. So, we have that going on throughout the summertime, your outer planets, being in those spaces, repeating those degrees. And also to remind you guys, if you want to tap into your own personal planet placements, especially when you get into your lineage of things. So let's talk about lineage. Oya deals with 9 generations in your lineage. So when you're tapped into your Pluto placements, you're tapped into your the energy of the 9 generations before you and the energy of the 9 generations after you, right? Because time is not linear. You're dealing with the rising and falling of your lineage and the overall energy that they experience. You can also get into this on the realms of, you want to get into the natal chart of the area you live at, the country you live in. It also will tell that story as well. You can get into the draconic chart, depending on what country you live in. I won't assume that you guys live in America. That's a crazy assumption to make. So that's the same thing as saying Earth is the only planet. It's that small mindedness. So I'm not going to do that. So, whatever country you're in, get into the natal chart of the country you're in. You can get into the draconic chart of the country that you're in and align that with your own personal draconic or progressive chart. See how you're aligning. Get into the progressive chart of the space that you're in and where you live at. That's another thing. You can get into the birthday of the place you live in. See how that country is progressing. You can align that with the news and the current events and things like that as well. So when you get into Neptune, Neptune, now you're dealing with 6 generations. You're going either 6 generations behind or 6 generations forward to get that information of your living memory. Different things that are living in your memory maps that might not always belong to you, but it's a lot of deja vu energy. That's the Neptune vibe. Now, when you get into Uranus, now you're going back 3 generations before or ahead of you. And that's when you get into the wisdom that's really passed down, parent, grandparent, great grandparents. Some of us have had the opportunity to be in the presence of the great grandparents. So that's always awesome. So when you get into that realm, you're really getting into the traditions and the wisdom, the little sayings, the different ways y'all do. I learned a lot from my grandmother. I learned a lot from my great grandmother. We all went to the same church. Those generations, those are the ones that you kind of really holding on to you in this life. Now Jupiter goes back to the actual age of self. Every 7 years creates an age of self. And Jupiter actually gets into the 7 ages of self. So 7 times, 7 is your 49. And then it also goes up to 84 years. Jupiter wants to go all the way up to 84 years. All right. So, that's your personal wisdom that you've taken from this age to this age, that stage to that stage. Now, when you get into Jupiter, this is the last, local planet, the last personal planet in your space. This is when you're talking about practicalities for life, skills you acquire. Now we're only talking about 2 years of your life. Take about 2 years for you to fully master something if you really dedicate your time and energy into that realm. All right. So that gap between Mars and Jupiter is where you're coming from those personal planets, the personal self, and your personal knowledge and wisdom and your personal invocations. And now you're coming out into your lineage. Now you're coming out into your auric field. Now you're coming out into your outer knowledge and your outer space. So, and then you have the Kuiper belt in between there. Now there was like theories that belt used to be like one whole planet at one point in time. And something clashed with it and created all these small asteroids. And what the asteroids are just like further tiny details to, what the planet used to overall be, right? And, now that you have, this big, being, tied into, small spaces, small planets, you're now able to, get a little bit more detail, be a little bit more anal, color in between a little bit more lines. That's cool. Venus is about 19 days. This is the rise and fall of emotions. This is how fast the emotions move. It's like a full moon cycle, a little bit less than. You might be dealing more with the waning or the waxing side, and then it flips the coin to the other side. That's what Venus deals with, right? When we get into Mercury, now you're dealing with the pattern of your work and your routine and your immediate plans. All right. And it also marks the seasons. Mercury also marks the seasons, which is in alignment with like harvest and things like that. The moon is a day-to-day life aspect. Your mindset gets smaller. Your ascendant energy is a 2 hour, like 2 hours. What's happening within the next 2 hours? Now we're dealing with entertainment. Entertainment moves so fast. Entertainment moves so fast, so fast. But that's not the whole thing. That's just a little picture. That's just the rising. That's just the clock of the day. That's not the whole picture. You see how we went all the way back to Pluto? Time is not linear for you, and time is not small for you either. But we have made entertainment the whole thing. We've made entertainment the whole thing, and that's the issue. When you make entertainment the whole thing, you're trying to make Pluto a 2-hour thing. You're trying to make Neptune a 2-hour thing. You're trying to make Uranus a 2-hour thing, and it doesn't work that way, especially for my spellcasters out there. Everything can't be an ascendant energy. Some things require way more energy than that, way bigger investments in that. You know what I mean? So now we're going to get into the reading of the collective. Now that I got, that all that stuff out of the air, and I talked to you guys about the planets. Oh yeah, and the Venus and Mars, they're still doing their little tango. The moon has just dipped off. The moon is in Scorpius now, so it's not hanging around Venus and Mars anymore, but Venus and Mars are still dancing around each other, and they'll be at minimal angle on Friday. Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, they'll be at minimal angle on Friday and conjunction, Friday night, and you'll be able to see that. We also have Neptune will be stationary on Saturday at 3:11 a.m. For those of you guys who don't sleep like I don't. Neptune will be stationary at that time prior to his retrograde. So, you guys will be able to sit and witness and feel that at 3:11 a.m. If you want to stay awake, you'll get your downloads at that time. The moon will be in Sagittarius in the fourth house of Scorpio. So a lot of transformations happening on the internal side of things around that time anyway. Much expansion to everyone in the intellectual realm of things. The moon sitting in that Jupiter energy. We're talking about, knowledge on a lifespan, looking back on your life experiences and tapping in. Neptune is talking about memory, living memories. What do you remember? Those hidden agendas, those hidden secrets, those Akashic records. Tap into that draconic chart, y'all. July 2nd, I believe, what is that, Sunday? Sunday, the Mars is going to enter Leo constellation at 4 a.m. So now we have the tropical and the Vedic aligning with Pallas and Mars. Mars being that circulator up there in Urumila, circulating them suns. You see more happening with the sun and Ra. All right. You see a lot more happening with the 9 and the 1. And then I like that it entered Leo at a time of stability at 4 a.m. You'll notice when you start getting into the times of the conjuncts and things like that, the times are very symbolic. What kind of energy is Mars about to bring? Mars is about to bring the circulation of stability into Leo. Now that it's in alignment with its Leo zodiac energy, right? When the tropical and the Vedic energy align, we bring a sense of stability, right? And we're bringing it to our third eye. We're circulating that energy. Be mindful because that's two fires next to each other. So for my fire sun, for my fire sun people, my fire rising and my fire moons, you guys will be affected tremendously by this planetary shift. On the Vedic chart, I'm talking about, and the tropical chart, because they're aligning together. So, you'll be affected heavily, my fire babies out there. So be mindful of your fire and how it affects other people. Because I know it's very easy to be self-centered because everybody's supposed to bow down to fire, right? But air don't care about you being fire. Air just make you bigger and enjoy the flames. Water gonna try to put you out. And earth ain't never gave a fuck. Especially when you're dealing with that fixed earth. So be mindful of your alignments with the other elements here. You are the alchemist. So that's what's happening in the planetary shifts. I'm very excited for the planetary shifts that we got going on. Peace to y'all that just came into the room. If you would like a tarot pull for you guys, please comment in the chat. If you would like a name or number reading, feel free to comment down there. Hey, pull a card for me, sis. I got you. I'm pulling the cards. But yeah, we have really dope planetary shifts happening these next few days. Neptune going to retrograde is going to be such a vibe. I'm really enjoying Saturn being in retrograde. I don't know about y'all. I'm also enjoying Pluto being in retrograde. Like, it's really, like, it's things that I knew that was going to happen. It wasn't that I was fighting them to happen. It was just that I was in a state where, like, I ain't gonna hold you. I was in one of the mindsets where I was like, Jesus, take the wheel. Like, I already know y'all finna go in retrograde and take the wheel any fucking way. So I give y'all permission. Just come and change my life because I'm tired. I didn't want a lot of these relationships anymore any fucking way. Go ahead and do your thing in the 7th house. Saturn, you got this. I already know that some of these people out here, they in familial clothing and they're in skinfolk clothing, but they not my skin. They not my people. They the ops. I already knew that shit. So go ahead, Neptune and Pisces. Neptune and Pisces and Saturn and Pisces, do your work. Uproot them people up out my space because they wasn't bringing me joy anyway. They was draining. They were draining me and making me very uncomfortable. And I was tired of it. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for Oya going in retrograde and making her way back to Capricorn energy. And I can't wait for her to go back to Aquarius because she finna do some work for y'all. Watch the waters. It's a lot happening in the water because y'all supposed to be watching it. Oya, the last time Oya made this shift was in 1776, y'all. What happened? 400 years before that, what happened? We was in the 1300s. That was the beginning, right? That was the beginning of the war that led to the 1700s. 400 years before that, where was we at? We was in the establishment of what happened in 7-Eleven. Was we not? What happened in 7-Eleven, y'all? Oh, all right. What happened 400 years before that? We was in the 300s. That's when we were in the dark ages. That's when a volcano went over and blotted out the fucking sun. A whole transformation from a volcano happened. What happened 400 years before that, y'all? We was giving credit to the nomos for our intellect, right? We can keep going 400, 400, 400, 400. You're going to see the rise and fall of empires because that's what Oya brings. The rise and fall of nations. We are witnessing before our eyes the fall and the rise of some nations. We are literally here to watch it. And I brought some motherfucking popcorn. In fact, I got popcorn in different flavors. What flavor y'all want? Because I really like the sriracha honey flavor popcorn. That's my favorite. I hope you're doing good. Can you pull a card for me? I'm a Sagittarius. Okay, my Sag. The fire. Are you enjoying this year? I'm enjoying the rise and fall of these nations in front of us, especially if your Pluto is in Scorpio energy. You literally are here to watch this shit fall. We're here to watch this shit fall and to take our powerful place. So if your Pluto is in Scorpio, congratulations. You is winning. We made it, y'all. Because they trying to take us out. They're trying to take us out. For those of you guys who are in this realm and know what's going on, a lot of us are dealing with heavy injuries. A lot of people are getting injured in this realm. They're trying to take us out because they want to keep their nation rising because they know what Pluto does when Pluto enters Aquarius. They know what Pluto does when Pluto is in transit. The last time Pluto made this transit was in 17. I just went through the years with y'all. We already know the rise and fall of the nations that happened during these Pluto transitions. We watching the fall. We watching the rise. We talking about new Earth. We talking about the new dimensions. We talking about the fall of America and the debt notes that America brought with them. We ain't asked for the motherfucking debt notes. Them ain't my ancestors on them pieces of paper. Them somebody else's ancestors. And that's why I'm moving into a space where now I have my own notes. And they ain't debt notes. They're abundance notes. And my abundance notes have my ancestors on them. And if you would like your own abundance notes, reach out to me because I custom make abundance notes now. That's what I'm doing now. So I got y'all. We're going to have our own currency. We watch our own waters. Yeah. I've been feeling, well, I came on this planet and already know what the fuck I was supposed to be doing. I might got indoctrinated for a couple years being in school around my friends. But for the most part, I already knew. I was already on this type time with herbal studies and healing naturally and, talking to energies and being able to see and hear things. My grandmother was already on this type time. The more my mother gets comfortable in dialogue, the more she talks about being on this type time as well. So it's a lineage thing for the women in my family, and then I learned that my paternal grandfather, his mother is still alive, and I got to meet her. And I got to learn that she also is in alignment. So it's just like, that was beautiful. I actually met her this past December. My grandfather had his first birthday party. He never had a birthday party before. He turned 70 and had his first birthday party. And I got to meet my grandmother for the first time. And, I got to get introduced to her energy and learning that, she's in alignment with the healing vibes. And she, and it was beautiful to just see her in her 90 something year old self, just smiling and, just being full. I love that. So Sage, let me pull this card for you. I have a brother named Sage. I am pulling the reverse 2 of chalices, 2 of cups. There is an imbalance here in the emotional self, more so in the one-on-one relationships. I want you to work on your feminine energy and tapping into that realm. That the Saturn being in the 7th house is going to affect you a lot, especially with that retrograde energy happening this summer. The Neptune energy is also affecting you a lot, but definitely those Libra scales on that too, right? And also, that Piscean energy. that water energy in your space. Right now you're at a retrograde with that side. So I want you to know that Pisces rules over the feminine side of your sacral chakra. So I want you to tap into all your Pisces placements. you know what celestial bodies do you have in that chakra, on that quadrant of your chakra, because those are the parts of your life that's being affected by the Saturn and Neptune. All right, and that's what that card wants you to work on. I also have the reverse. Oh yeah, see, the reverse 7 of Cups is for you too. Still coming into that space, those sacral chakra placements in Pisces energy, I want you to focus on those. And Spirit also says seventh house, your seventh house placements. If you have anything there in seventh house or Libra, All by energy rules over the masculine side of your heart chakra. So the experiences that your heart experiences, there's an imbalance there as well. And Saturn as well as Neptune is coming to do work on those areas of your life, those specific areas of your life. So let Neptune and let Babalao and let Olukun do their thing and your sacral chakra. They're here for you. And they're also going to come for your Oba in that seventh house, that heart chakra vibe as well. It might hurt at first, but I bet you those are different people, places, things, ideas, bonds, and contracts you knew from the rip you had no business being in. Give me 2.5 seconds because I got food in the oven. I got to turn the oven on because it is time. But yeah, that's the cards I got for you, Sage. Love. Thank you. Peace, peace. Whoever is in here, if you would like a card pull for you, please, let a goddess know. I will pull a card for you. But that's the same energy. That's the same vibe I got. It was a lot of relationships. I be known from the rip, like this relationship ain't gonna work out, and I already see why. And I already know you about to sit here and play in my face. But there's a part of me that just wants to see how far this goes. I just like to play with fire. I don't know. I got issues. My Leo is rising. I love to play with fire. It's interesting. My motivation is in Aries, so it's just like, that looks dangerous. Let me see what's over there. I like adventures. I can't help it. I can help it. I just haven't been there to help it yet. I'm working on it. Thank you. That resonates with me a lot. I've known for a while my sacral chakra needs some healing, but haven't been putting in the work. Yes. And Saturn and Neptune are here to assist you with putting in that work. It is so important, and sometimes you have to go back down. And that's what Babalao or Saturn is going to give you an opportunity to do. It's cool that we have Babalao sitting in our sacral chakra because Babalao is the gateway to coming back down to the root chakra. So when you come back down to the root chakra is actually ruled by Saturn. So you get into your Capricornus and your Aquarius placements there. And so when you're back down there, ask yourself, what's your mission statement? I say get into your draconic chart. If you guys would like a draconic chart reading, I can tell you what your Akashic records are in your soul contract, because that's the most important contract that you have here on this plane. There is no law above universal law. Universal law is the law. That is why we're down here. Go over your draconic chart to find your universal law. Natural law is when we start dealing with the tropical chart. Now we're dealing with natural law when we deal with the tropical and the Vedic chart. We start, dumbing down. Now we're dealing with human law. We start dealing with the progressive chart and stuff like that. But your draconic chart is your universal law. That's your mission statement energy. You want to get into the root chakra placements, the Capricorn and Aquarius. Those are the root chakra placements in your draconic chart. And I'll tell you your Akashic records and why you're here, how you got here in the life path. And you can tell the story between your nodes and your draconic chart. Now, sometimes you got to go back down to your root chakra and reestablish your mission statement. Reestablish why you're here. What's your boundaries? What's your law and order within? And you got to get rid of the stuff that's not in alignment with that. And it's a hard thing to do. Babalao is not an easy placement to play with. The root chakra has never been an easy placement to placement. It's the hardest one. It's the hardest one. You figure, thank God we spend so much. We don't spend a lot of time there in the physical self, because Aquarius energy is the act of detaching from the womb. Now you're being pushed out the womb, right? You got your first air, breath, Aquarius energy right then and there. You know what I mean? And then on an internal realm of things, Aquarius is also coming into the womb. Let there be light. You came into the womb. Aquarius, intellect, knowing. That's the light that comes into the darkness. Now you're in Capricorn. What's Capricorn? Let's talk about it. It's a couple different things. When you're still in the womb, Capricorn is when you start making your cells, and your cells start replicating, and now you're bringing in, the physical self before you get into the neurons and the nerves start coming into play. That's when we get into that Pisces energy and that sacral chart, right? Now, outside of the womb, you've been cut from the umbilical cord. You had your first breath. Aquarius energy accomplished. Capricorn energy is that whole fucking stage of life where you're learning your motor skills, and it's very difficult. You can't communicate with nobody. Everybody think you're crying, you're a crybaby, you deserve to be ignored, you deserve to sit in a pissy diaper for mad long, a shitty diaper for mad long. You go mad long without being fed or having your thirst quenched. You got to learn how to move your hands and your feet, because you really want to learn how to do this shit by yourself, because relying on these parents ain't getting it, because they're not listening to you, because they think you a crybaby and you're spoiled. And then when the older people come in the room, they really don't want to deal with you. Now they taking you to daycare. These daycare motherfuckers really don't want to deal with you. It's a lot to be an infant and a baby. It is not easy. Capricorn do not play. And that's where you get a lot of those quote unquote childhood traumas. Now that you're in toddler realm, and now you want to seek pleasure, right? It's all about play. Now we can play with the toys. Now, what does this do? What does that do? We're inquisitive. That's Pisces energy, right? We're expanding our knowledge. That's Sagittarius energy. That's all sacral chakra, baby. Now you're playing with shit. And in the womb, now you're getting your nerves. Your nervous system is coming into play, right? So you're playing with all these different things. This is also the space. Now you move into the solar plexus. Now, I done heard mommy and daddy tell me no all motherfucking time this whole time. Mommy and daddy been ignoring me. They don't change my diaper on time. They don't do none of that. So now I'm in my solar plexus. I'm changing my own motherfucking diaper. I'm going to piss on your floor. I'm taking the diaper off. I don't care. I'm going to eat when I want to eat. I'm going to put my finger in the socket. I'm about to start telling you no. And now I'm about to start having temper tantrums because y'all don't fucking listen. That's solar plexus chakra energy, right? The infant turns into a toddler, and it's now is moving in its power. It's exercising, it's flexing its power. I know when I'm at grandma's house, I'm gonna get away with this shit versus when I'm with dad or mom. You know what I'm saying? I'm flexing on these siblings. I'm going to daycare. I'm gonna do whatever I want because y'all not paying me no mind anyway. Now I'm snatching stuff from people. That's all. That's me taking my power, because this whole time I couldn't speak and shit. Y'all ain't give a fuck. This is the trauma these babies go through. Now you coming into the heart chakra of things. Now they're starting to have awareness of emotions. Now you can embarrass them. Now they feel shame and guilt. Now, now I start to care. And now I can say, I love you, mom. I love you, dad. And I'm starting to get an idea of what that means. Still a childlike idea, but I'm starting to get it. You know what I'm saying? Now we come into this debate of, the baby finally has a heartbeat. Fuck that. The baby been had shit going on. The baby had a whole structure going on inside the womb down in Capricorn. You wait till the baby gets to the heart chakra, now you want to consider it a human? It was a whole human down there in Aquarius. So, you do all of that. Now you're coming into the throat chakra. Now we're invoking things. Now the child can speak. Now the child can invoke emotions and thoughts and things out of you. Now I can tell you, hey, mommy, I'm hungry. And I can invoke you to make me something to eat. I can invoke you to give me something to drink. I can invoke you to respond to me because I can communicate now. Now I'm having better awareness of my community and who's who and what's what. I'm able to label people, places, and things in my life now. I get that's mom now. I get that's dad now. I get this is a cousin now. I have that power of invocation now. Then we get into the third eye. Now I want to expand my knowledge on things that I can't fucking see. I want to know why. Kids always ask why. Why? That is the crown. That is the third eye going into the crown chakra. Now, when you fuck your kids up at the root, You not realizing how imbalanced they are when they get to the throat chakra. Now they don't want to talk to you. You're not paying attention how imbalanced they are in the solar plexus chakra. Now they telling you no, and they over here having temper tantrums. Now they throwing hands. You got to pay attention to all of that at the root. It matters. That baby crying in that crib fucking matters, bro. That's Capricorn energy. You're teaching them their boundaries right now. You're teaching them their basic survival of self, if they can trust you or not, right now. Now, y'all can debate me because I'm utilizing spiritual concepts, but I got a psychology background, baby. I can change these words around real quick. We talking about the 7 stages of development, trust versus mistrust. It's the same shit. These people took our knowledge, took our spiritual knowledge, and put science on top of it. And then told us we had to pay thousands of dollars a fucking year to get our knowledge back with their jargon on it. That's what the fuck they did. But you already know that. You already know that. So exercise. Oh, yeah, I would love to do a Akashic record reading for you. I love to do readings for people. I love aligning people with their purpose and what they're supposed to be doing. That's a very happy place for me. You know, I'm a Virgo stellium, and my Mars is in Gemini. And so I'm very passionate about the invoking people's spiritual sides out of them. I'm very passionate about teaching and learning. My imaginative play was a lot of learning and let's play school. So, you know, I'm sitting in my space. Thank you. I appreciate that. I just want y'all to get the concept of growth in the womb and outside of the womb. And then now you can understand the different phases, because we talked about, you know, Jupiter being the 7 ages of men, right? Each year is a chakra. Now you got all 7 chakras. Now you're at the age of 7, right? You're now a young child. You're now it's not adolescent yet. It's like child. It's from toddler to child. So now you're in that space. Now you go into the next stage. The next stage is the next 7 years. It's going to take you from child through adolescence, through being a teenager. When you start going through those transformations again, right? Now you're going through hormonal transformations at the 14, right? 14 to 21. That section of 7 is heavy. That's a heavy solar plexus chakra space in your life, because not only, okay, so the first 7 years of your life, you go through 1 chakra a year, but that whole 7 years is still the root chakra. The next stage of your life is 7 years, 1 year per chakra, but 7 to 14 is still the sacral chakra. Now you feeling joy. From age 14 to 21, now you deal with each year being a different chakra, but those whole 7 years is now your solar plexus chakra, because as a teenager, what do you crave? What do you crave as a teenager? Independence, autonomy. You're watching a lot of shows with a lot of teenagers having this sense of independence. They can make their own decisions. Their moms and dads do not be around while they engaging in their foolishness on these television shows. That's feeding our children. They are intentionally feeding the solar plexus chakra of our teenagers. You know what I'm saying? They're doing that with the TV and movies. You think people in entertainment don't realize the chakras they touching? They teach psychology to marketing majors. Marketing and advertisement majors and majors in the entertainment industry also take psychology courses. I know what colors and what sounds and what frequencies to align to get you to do what the fuck I want you to do. I know that. And I only have my bachelor's. There's people out here that have way more degrees than I do. So if I know that with my bachelor's, imagine what they know. So, you know, you got to be mindful of these entertainment companies when they are targeting, they say, oh, I want my target audience. They're learning everything they can learn about that stage that those people are at in their life, to the point where they're creating imaginary people and pretending like they are marketing towards that particular person. That is an exercise I learned in theater. That's an exercise I learned in psychology when dealing with clients and doing, you know, the mock trials through the DSM. That's what they teach you. That's what they teaching people when they're out here profiling people to arrest them or pull them over. It's spiritual knowledge in that as well, though. When you incorporate the spiritual knowledge, which is something that, you know, people like to take out of things because it's no science to it yet. You know, it takes a lot of elements out. But when you put the spiritual knowledge back into it, it puts those elements back in there where you can really pay attention to the person that you're talking to, the energy you invoking, the energy exchanges you having, even if it's just within self by yourself. You know? And that's important. So you in the solar plexus from 14 to 21. Now from 21 to 28, now you in the heart chakra. Now I want love. I want to fall in love. Everybody in their early 20s. It's time to get married, right? It's love. I want my relationship. Heart chakra deals with love and money. 21, I'm going to college. I'm getting the degrees. Because by 30, what you want your karma to look like by 30, right? I want my karma to look like I got a good job, I got a nice car, I got my kids, or kids on the way, I got my husband. That's what that's what you want your karma to look like by 30, right? How many years does it take for Saturn to make a full return? 30 years. So you innately know that your Saturn return is at 28, at the end of that heart chakra. At the end of you putting that work in on the love and business realm, you want Babalao to come back and give you those things to your heart chakra. You innately know your Saturn return is 30 years. So now we at 28 to what is that, 35? Now we in the next set of 7. Now you in your third eye. Now you're experiencing what return? Your Jupiter. Your Jupiter returns on the 35. Think about it. You know, you already know you about to have that return. That's when the wisdom starts coming. That's when they say a man actually reaches his full peak around the heart chakra, around the Saturn return. The Saturn return is usually when a man has finally reached full maturity and he is who he's going to be because he had that full masculine turnaround from the root back up to the top. They say women are quicker. Women are like more so in the early 20s at, you know, between that 14 and 21 stage because Oya rules over the solar plexus chakra. That's more of a divine feminine energy. Once we get the solar plexus chakra popping, we kind of full circle with those lower 3. Men need to have that Saturn return first. And then they spend the next 7 years experiencing the Saturn return in their third eye, allowing that to expand themselves till they get to their Jupiter return. So that those are the stages you go through in your life. You know, it's small and then it gets bigger. I hope I explained that well to some of you guys that are just now listening to me for the first time. But you really are like little Russian dolls. Really are like little Russian dolls. Peace, peace, y'all. Welcome to the group. If you would like a card pull for you, just comment in the chat. Pull a card for me, sis. But I'm finna wrap this up with y'all. I gave y'all an hour. You know, I appreciate y'all allowing me to, you know, share this knowledge with y'all, for me to, you know, do collective reading for y'all and tell y'all what's going on in the cosmos. Yeah, being in the 30s is so different because you had that Saturn return. You back at that root chakra on the smaller scale, but on the larger scale, you know, moved yourself up to the next set of, you know, next set of things to focus on. It's fun here. You're having a good time. I'm in my fourth stage of things. So I'm in my heart chakra right now. I wanted my Saturn return to have the nice car and stuff like that, but it didn't happen that way. Wanna know why? Because I spent my bottom chakra acting up. So my karma retribution was the dismantling of all of those things because none of it was built correctly to begin with. So my whole root got dismantled. So now I'm rebuilding again in my Saturn return. The Saturn return doesn't enter your 36. I'm about to enter my 33rd year. So like I'm rebuilding my Saturn, my root chakra again in my heart chakra space, you know? So, you know, those are different, you know, ways. And then, you know, you pay attention to your placements. Where is the Saturn? What zodiac energy is the Saturn in? What house is it in? Because that's where the energy is by being directed towards. What zodiac energy is over that house, because that tells you what kind of energy you're getting in return. I just seen the guitar on the back. Do you play 440 hertz? A different tone? I play guitar too. So the reason why it's out of the bag is because I had a friend come over and he plays a guitar and he was offering to give me lessons. I took guitar. So when I went to college, I took a bunch of art, like just a bunch of stuff that I thought was cool. And playing guitar was one of the electives I took. And I just always kept the guitar because I do want to play. It's just, I haven't done it. So I have no idea what I'm doing on the guitar. I won't lie to you, but it is there. and eventually I'm going to touch it, and we're gonna have a great time because I just made a new friend that is willing to teach me. So that's it's in the back because he just popped it out the bag and started messing with it. But that's cool. I do would love to get into playing different frequencies on the guitar with my affirmations. For those of you guys, this is your first time being in line with me. I make positive affirmation music. So when we finish this video, I'm gonna play a couple songs. You know, if you want to stay tuned and listen to some of my songs that I've made or whatever. I'm very intentional with my lyrics and invocation. Like I said, I'm a Virgo stellium, so I have a lot of energy. And Papa Legba, you know, he is my go-to, and you know that's my skill here. That's what I'm good at here. You know, is my throat chakra. Is a tool that was given to me here. So communicating with y'all, teaching, you know, music, writing books. You know, my knack for writing is my knack for expression and things like that. That's what I bring to y'all. That's what I'm good at. So yeah, that's what I have for y'all. You know, please enjoy these beautiful sounds, these beautiful positive affirmation sounds and things that I'm going to bring to you guys. And also some knowledge that I have for y'all is the Cosmic Nobodies Convention. You know, we are still in nomination phase. You know, reach out to me if you would like to nominate any healers. You know, we have categories from podcasts to music to actors, writers, community builders, off-grid people that have restaurants, business owners. They just have to be rooted in healing and uplifting. We're only accepting nominees that are about healing and uplifting the people, the collective. Nominations end this Saturday, July 1st, and then voting will begin July 7th, 7/7 to 8/8 will be the voting. I'm very excited about that. We already have 30 nominees sitting together, aligning and things, and it's still growing as I'm getting nominations every day, up until Saturday. You know, I see you last minute birdies out there. If you are interested in participating in the Cosmic Nobody's Convention this year, it will be in New Jersey. We'll be in Willowboro, New Jersey, August 26, 2023. We are still looking for performers, vendors, workshop instructors, people that are willing to speak during the award ceremony and announce the different winners. We are still, you know, if you want to just come out and just be a part of the event, Eventbrite tickets are on Eventbrite to do that. And I'm very excited for the convention. This is our 3rd year. I'm already preparing for the 4th year, as we have intentions on having it at a hotel that year for the full weekend and really having a bunch of workshops in the different meeting rooms and things like that. So I'm very excited for this year's convention, also very excited for next year's convention and the conventions to come that have intentions on actually being off grid. As you guys know, I do have land in Arizona. I am building an off grid community, and I do have the spiritual support group where we are creating, you know, we are building on the chakras of a community. We are starting at the root chakra of the community, and we are building on the basic resources of self, and we're getting into business with one another, and we're learning how to trade forex as a group, and we are learning how to secure the money that we create, you know, as sovereign people. Oh, I don't like to use the word sovereign. Someone corrected me on that recently, but we are, you know, we are God sent. As God sent, having a human experience, we are able to protect ourselves on paper as that, and not as U.S. citizens or whatever other entities that like to put umbrellas above our existence. So, you know, we are building in that direction, in that way. So if anybody's interested in sitting at this round table, the availability is, there's a limit, of course. However, it's a lot of openings at the moment, and we have not started yet. July 1st is the kickoff day when we begin to start really digging into the root chakra as a community and start making these moves. The initial location for land is in Arizona. It is secure. We do have that, and we do have intentions on creating more income to have multiple locations of off-grid land in multiple spaces, you know, and multiple, you know, so we can be nomadic as we were, you know, prior to all of this energy that caused us to be stagnant and fixed. I hope to see you play one day around 4:15.8. 4:15.8. Let me write that down. I was born at 4:18 in the morning. 4:15.8. Thank you so much said about the chakras. I didn't know, and looking forward to the kasha. Yes, I look forward to reading you. I appreciate the trust. But that's the different things that I have going on. Thank you guys for tapping in. And here goes the music.
Manifested by elements ethereal, I knew of terrestrial material, intertwined celestial of imperial, infiltrating corporation of oppressive serial. Resilience is something like a miracle, observing kinfolk and draconian material. The more equipped for ascension, the more one seems to be treated as inferior. Dr. Umar said, the white man's heaven here, Asian man heaven here, Arabic man heaven here. But the black man heaven fit. The black man heaven fit, cause it lies in death. Release from the karma debt, release from all the stress, release what we don't confess. In order to live, I guess we must be bodiless. Makes me wonder, if we made out of greatness most fit for this plane, then why we the most hated? Why we the most hated? Was I in court waiting for my sentence? Listening to a witness accuse me of unfitness to remain in these cosmic dimensions? Is that why we repent and we ask for forgiveness? The hours and days, they feel repetitious. Oppressive energy soaking up my minutes. Purple haze blowing smoke on my grimace. Another nobody traveling out of limits. Exiled from cosmos as penance. Or maybe this time it's just an intermission. Like Jesus chapters that went missing. Traveling and gaining knowledge between dimensions. Christ consciousness bringing me ascension. Kundalini flows up, now is where my intentions. So don't cry for me when my time is risen. Sing some praises, cause you know that I made it. And know you're all my extensions. Yes, you're all my extensions.
I am abundant, I bring to existence all that I want, and I done tapped into the God in me. Cut my locks off and switched up the vibe in me. Like how I manifest within, how I choose to defend, who I label my friends, how I make amends. Cause I'm choosing laughter is peace that I'm after. I abracadabra, then poof, chakras blast off. My soul take this cast off, projection surpass me. Obsidian protection in case this trip lasts long. I see with 3 eyes, that's why my crown headstrong. Corona is viral to spirits living dead wrong vibration. I just wanna chill around positive vibes. Nothing negative, it will fuck up my vibe. Sit back and chill and just sip wine. I came from a dark place, now I'm living in light. Came from a dark place, yeah, now I'm doing with the light. Yeah, now I'm like making moves. Yeah, I be always on the flights. Yeah, I be on a mission for the bank nowadays. Why these niggas hating on a nigga nowadays? I've been on a mission with the light nowadays. I ain't fucking with the darkness nowadays. This for the ginger fire. This for the ginger fire. Papa Legba, Yeshua, Ilegua. Come out. Papa Legba, Yeshua. Ilegua, Ilegua. Yeshua, Ilegua. Cause this is our land. Yes, we was here first. They came here on a boat. They'll leave here in a hearse. They'll leave here through the dirt. They're going through the earth. We're channeling their ancestors to undo their curse. Cause once upon a time, we all could read and write. That legalese is lies. Strong men spell cursive ties. Strong men all caps disguise. They've gentrified our lives. We've redefined their sights. We've redefined their kind. Yes, this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. This shit here is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose it. Yes, this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. Yes, this shit is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose. When you chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor you gon' choose? Play their game, but by our rules. I'm Queen Annie the Maroon. I am Queen of Dongo. I am Queen of Zinga. I am Yenaga. I'm Carlotta and Fermina. Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor you gon' choose? Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor you gon' choose? I am a goddess. I am a priestess. I chant these mantras and they all repeat it. If we make a promise, this land we gon' seize it. Get vengeance for Mother Earth treason. Hey, the gentrifier. This for the gentrifiers. This for the gentrifiers. This for the gentrifiers. Repetition of empires. Invading land with gunfire. Slavery not posters for hire. Income not what you desire. Outcome working jobs for hours. Mindset waiting to retire. Never stop working for dollars. Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. Which ancestor you gon' choose? When you chant, they gonna lose. Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. Which ancestor we gon' choose? When we chant, they gonna lose. Ashe, I mean. My spirit guides come in with that sin. My ancestors defend. I got that juice to transcend. Hey, ashe, I mean. My spirit guides come in with that sin. My ancestors, I got that juice to transcend. Cause I am a Santi, I am a Santa, I am a host, I am a homie, I am a Tamba. Yes, I am a Tamba. Cause I am a Santi, I am a Santa, I am a host, I am a homie, I am a Tamba. Yes, I am a Tamba. Yes, this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. When we chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor we gon' choose? Hey, choose. Cause when we chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor we gon' choose?
Mess with the wrong witch, and she knows it. And now you know it.